guys, welcome to another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. I'm starting to shoot from the hip on these and just finding the people that I've been wanting to talk to for such a long time. You guys know the deal. We bring cleaning business owners on, just people from the industry to help give back and share stories, man. We're here to share stories. We're here to talk about the brands and how we're impacting the people in our community and the people in our company, because this industry's done a lot for me. You guys all know that. And I have a special guest here, Edwin. However, we have not met in person. I have met some of Edwin's team. My guy is busy. He's out there. I see it. I've been wanting to get him on an episode, but I wanted to wait for the right time, and I think this was the right time. So, Edwin, I know you're out of Washington. You guys, the company is called iPro Building Solutions. I stopped there because I'm going to let him do his thing on who he is. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining me, my man. I had the pleasure, you guys, real quick, of joining Edwin and his team on a call. And again, that call sparked my passion for following you and your company, man. And there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to share what I think about what you're doing. But man, cheers to coming on the episode, my friend.
Cheers.
Ooh, the glass.
Absolutely.
Even the glasses almost look the same. Look at that.
They are, yeah. Look at that.
Good. Look at that. Oh, man. All right, so Edwin, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Those who don't know who Edwin Eaton is, man.
Sure, yeah. Well, first off, kudos to you, man. I mean, this podcast is great. Everything that you're doing for the industry is just awesome. I mean, you started this, just a couple years ago, and it's blown into something that's just huge. So kudos to you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
But yeah, me, myself, I got into this industry, in college back in 2001, 2002. My college roommate's uncle owned a janitorial company, and he called us one night and said, "Hey, I got a couple cleaners that quit. You guys be interested in holding the fort for me for a couple weeks till I can find some new cleaners for some beer money?" We said, "All right, we'll do it." Definitely not the greatest cleaner at the time, but that's how I got the start, and kind of learned a little bit about the industry there. He found some cleaners. We moved on, and fast forward to where we're at now. I was going to school in Seattle. Graduated, moved back to a little town in Wenatchee. We're about 50,000 people. So coming from Seattle with, millions of people back here, it's a culture shock. Reached out to my college roommate's uncle, and I said, "You know what? I think it's time. I've been thinking about doing my own thing, but you want to expand over this side of the mountains?" And he gave me the opportunity, and I think it was a challenge. He basically said, "I've got enough money to support you for a month. I can pay you salary for a month. If you can make your salary back, then let's do this." And I took it as a challenge. And after the first month, I made my salary back and then some, and just kind of progressed from there.
Dude, there's money to be made.
There is.
And people to impact in this space, man. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Edwin, talk to us about, because, it's crazy. I actually don't ask this question too many times, but I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to jump to like question 10 that I have here, because I see it right on your right chest. You love branding just like I do. I see it. I see it everywhere, dude.
All right.
You've got a word wall in your office. I see all your posts on LinkedIn. Like, I love what you're doing, and I actually want to start there, man. Like, where did iPro come from, and what got you to want to, not everybody wears their brand as much as I think they should, but like, What got you going? What sparked your interest with branding?
Well, yeah, I mean, so with my college roommate's uncle, we butted heads at one point, and we decided to split off and go our own ways. And he was never about branding. And I always said, if I ever started my own thing, it was going to be all about branding, right? And so even my drink, I got my coaster here, right?
Oh.
I've got my custom Air Force Ones up here.
Yes.
It's got the iPro logo on it. So it's all about repping your brand and marketing, and that's how you get your name out there. And it's called TOMA, top of mind awareness, and that's really the biggest thing. And what I learned is with the competition, a lot of the competition that's out there, they do a great job, but when it comes to uniforms and having that professional look, not everybody has it, and that's something just with my background from customer service to sales is what I learned. I had a lot of people instill that in me that, if you're you're going somewhere and you're wearing a Nike shirt or something, you're repping Nike's brand. If you have your own company and you got your name, why aren't you repping your own brand, right? And
Bro, amen. Amen to that. Like, I want you to, because that's a great soundbite. But dude, what is Toma? Toma again? Tell me Toma.
Toma is top of mind awareness, right? And so it's, in the cleaning industry, we're never thought of first, right? But we do our social media, right? That's how you and I connected, and people start seeing that, and then what is iPro, and so it's a conversation piece, and they see this out here, and sometimes they'll say home builders, right? So this is the original logo. We used to do residential cleaning. We don't do it anymore, but I left it because it was out there and it's branded, and so people know it now in this area, and so yeah, I mean, just repping your brand is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So let's actually dig deeper on that. Edwin too. So, because I know I've had people. So back in the day, we were Rosalato and Co. We were Rosalato Cleaning, and I think me and you are on the same wavelength. Where like I know Building Solutions is a part of your logo, but iPro is what sticks out to me, right? So
Right.
I know your brand is iPro. I don't need to say Building Solutions. It's iPro. So, and I don't know if it was something intentional for you, but like I always wanted to get to the point. Like even this shirt, right? I don't even say Rosalato anymore. I wanted it to be where just the R was all you needed to see, and people would associate that with, oh, that's that cleaning company or that facility services company. Because I feel like that is the goal, man. Like if people know, I look at iPro, doesn't have nothing in there says cleaning.
Nope.
But yet they know iPro. So again, kudos to you. I think people that are listening start thinking like that too, because again, it allows us, man, right? Like you got Building Solutions. I assume you do more than cleaning because it doesn't say just cleaning, right?
Exactly.
If you say just cleaning, I feel like sometimes it puts us in that pigeonhole of we are just a cleaning company, right? And,
Yep.
and then a client, because I don't know about you, but I get it all the time, man. I walk to one of our accounts and they're painting, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? We paint.
Right.
What happened? Why didn't you call us? Oh, Rick, I thought you guys only did cleaning. That was like 5-6 years ago. I'm like, never again. Never again will that happen. So was that intentional? Or what were you thinking with iPro, the name? Because I like the name. It's a very unique name.
Yeah, so this year will be 10 years in business. And so 10 years ago, the big thing was iPhones, iPads. And so we just looked at something that people would remember. Everybody, most everybody has an iPhone. And so it was just like, why not iPro, right? It's something that will kind of stick. And it's a conversation piece. We're like, where'd you come up with that? Like iPhone? It's like, yeah. And then we kind of go off of there. But yeah, I mean, when you start your business, that's the hardest thing is coming up with the name, right? I know your story, you and a family member and merge the names together. And I mean, that's unique, right? And you come up with your unique name and it sticks out.
Dude, all right. So now let's keep going to so those of you who don't follow Edwin, you should, because you'll start to learn about his company. And one thing I want to talk about, Edwin, is you start to know your employees. One thing I give you kudos on is even something I don't even do as much. And I'm starting to see a lot of people do it though, but you highlight your employees. You highlight when it's their birthday. You highlight when it's an anniversary. You're constantly posting about them. I don't even see that you post about your services, actually. I see that you post about your team. So talk to me about your culture, because I know it. Again, you guys, just so you know, Edwin invited me to talk to his managers, and you can see, dude, your management team doesn't know who I am. I don't, who is this guy jumping in on a phone call of our monthly manager meeting? But you could tell they were hungry to learn. They were listening. They observed. I don't know how much they took out of that, right? But like the fact that you did that shows to me how much you care about your team. So where did that come from? Was that natural?
I mean, and they want you back too, to speak to the crew again. I told them I'd hit you up for that. But no, I mean, it's one of those things where, if you're in the cleaning industry, you sure as heck better know how to clean, right? So every cleaning company that's here knows how to clean. But how are you different, right? That's the question that comes up. How do you differentiate yourself from the competition? And with us, it's like it's people and technology. That's really the biggest difference. But it's the people that make the biggest difference, and it's finding the right people. And too, you started this from the ground up, that you were out there cleaning, right? And then you were out there selling, and eventually you got to break off from doing the cleaning and doing your thing, the day-to-day stuff. And you got to take care of those people that are doing the work for you. And, I get a lot of, hey, after the pandemic, during the pandemic, it's tough to hire people. It's so tough. People don't want to work. But if you have that culture, the people that work for you are going to go out there and find you other people, their friends, their family members, and they'll bring those people in. And that's really with us. I mean, we have very low turnover. And I credit that to the way the company culture is. People have fun when they come to work. It's crazy because the other company I was with, it wasn't about branding. It wasn't about marketing. I made a T-shirt, had the logo in the front, logo in the back. There may have been an employee in the beginning that didn't have one. It's like, where's my shirt? Like, I want to wear my shirt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started. And then it's like, okay, then the vehicles are wrapped. And then, all the cleaning, all of our cleaning technicians have business cards, right? They're in a location. If something happens, the alarm goes off, they have to be able to identify themselves. So they have their own business cards and they feel a part of the team, just as something as simple as a uniform and a business card that they have. And it's just doing meetings, it's doing giveaways. Tonight is actually the first game for our new local semi-pro basketball team, the Wenatchee Bighorns, and we're one of the sponsors for it. And and so we've been working with them, and the staff loves it. And so we incorporated a couple mini basketball hoops in the office, and they can shoot for gift cards and all kinds of things like that, and tickets to the games. And so it's just doing stuff to keep them engaged and keep them happy so they don't want to leave. It's not always about the money. It's about how you're treated at work, if you're being respected and you're not being talked down to. And that's the biggest thing. And like in our manager meetings that we do every week, it started is just a thing that I wanted. We have 3 different offices, so it's hard to get everybody in the same office at one time. And so I thought, what, let's utilize Zoom. Pandemic took off with Zoom. Let's do it. Let's utilize the technology. And so that's what we did. Every Wednesday at 3:30, we have our manager meeting and everybody's on there. It looks like the Brady Bunch with everybody's, pictures up there on the Zoom. But it started with just me talking and having, certain things, how to walk them through doing a staff meeting, or, how to work on their communication with their employees. And then it spiraled off to, hey, let's get some guest speakers on here. Like you were on it, right? And you inspired them. They want you back on. I mean, you've got a lot of experience in this industry. And so it's bringing people in like that with their different experiences. And it's not just people in the industry, but I bring in people like my old general manager in the hotel industry. And he talked to us about leadership, and then he even extended and told the whole management group, hey, I'm part of this hotel group in Washington, D.C. Anytime you guys come down this way, you got a room, it's on the house. I'll take care of it for you guys.
Damn it, I got to connect with him. That was the guy you connected me with, right?
Yeah, he's just right down the street,
dude,
from where you're doing your event. So,
did he say he was available, or what did he say again? Did he say you were just making the connection that he'd be open?
Just making the connection. But it's one of those things. If you need somebody to talk to or something like that, he's open to do it. And he's a great guy, But yeah, I mean, it's just doing stuff like that with our managers, and it spiraled into this whole thing where I pick 2 managers every week, and they do a presentation. I give them a topic and they do a presentation in front of the rest of the management staff. And we critique them, like, hey, you could do this better. Hey, that was a great job. And it spiraled into them actually putting together PowerPoint presentations now for the crew. They get 10, 15 minutes. And I mean, just yesterday, one of our managers had a whole PowerPoint presentation with pictures of other employees, like how to communicate and everything. And I mean, it's taken off. They love it. They feel part of the group.
Yeah, man. I feel like that's your perfect definition of engagement, right? Like I remember, I forgot who, I think it was David Thompson. I was talking to him and he said, Rick, yes, people is, what we're talking about, 100%. It's about your people. The people will take you to the next level. Yep. But he said, but even further than that, it's engaged people. Like your people, if they're not engaged, then you still actually haven't done the job as leadership. So what you're doing, dude, that's the definition of engagement. I'm literally, you see, I got notes everywhere. Like I got notes. So because this is what I want people to realize is what I want to do with conversations like this, Edwin, is by default, you're sharing knowledge and experience that others can easily implement or pick your brain, shoot you a message, right? Because I just learned something, right? The topic and giving them a presentation. I've never done that. We've never actually done that before. So
Yeah.
That is pretty cool to test. Again, not to judge, not to put people on the
Right.
spot. It's to put them through an exercise that I guarantee you the first time they're going to be nervous, right? They probably are
Oh
nervous.
yeah.
They're like, oh my God, Edwin's, I don't know PowerPoint. I don't know. No problem. Second time, they're going to feel more confident. Third time, they're
Hmm.
going to probably come to you and tell you, hey, when am I up next? I have something I want to do, right?
Well, here's the cool thing about it is they reach out to each other, and I encourage that. And at first they didn't do it, but I shared a story just on the last meeting we had yesterday, actually, that one of my supervisors in Oregon, who's new to the supervisor industry, part of it, he reached out to one of the other supervisors, and they collaborated together. And he thanked her on the call, and so now they're interacting with each other where they wouldn't see each other every day. Now they have the opportunity to interact with each other now that they're seeing each other, once a week on the Zoom calls. And so it's really helped. And again, back to the company culture, it's building it with the managers, and then they're taking that and they're running it and doing something with their own crews
Yeah.
when they do their meetings.
Edwin, and here, man, it's a good conversation because I'm still involved with Rosalato, but not as much. But I love to take some of this stuff back and give to the team. And as we're talking,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, I remember, man, in the beginning when we first started, I always thought my supervisors needed to have, or I always said, you know what, in my head, they better be good cleaners. They have to be great cleaners. They have to be great cleaners. I can't have them be a supervisor if they're not a great cleaner. I'm learning more and more now that that's not the case. They need to know what
Right.
cleaning is, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be a great leader and a great supervisor, right? Like
Yeah.
supervisors need to lead their. So we've started to shift to look at different qualities that I just never thought of before, man. Like I'm telling you, I always said they have to know cleaning better than anybody. I gotta say, not I was incorrect with that assumption because they just need to know cleaning. Like, what is it? What's your clean? What's your definition of clean?
Yep.
But then to be a supervisor and a leader of a region or a department, they've got to have those leadership skills that you're instilling in them by putting them on the spot. Really.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big piece. And I always say it too. It's like you can be the best cleaner that's out there. Doesn't mean you're going to be a great supervisor or manager. And you can be a great supervisor or manager, but you're not going to be a great cleaner. And,
And that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I shared a story. I had a cleaner. I mean, she's fabulous. She's been with me for 5+ years, and she's the OCD, gets on her hands and knees, cleans the baseboards, everything. Right. And we trained her for a month straight. And then we cut her loose one night on a Friday, the busiest night. And she worked a 16-hour shift on a Friday night. I showed up Saturday morning. I had my golf clubs at the office. I was going to go golf, and she's there typing up her recap for the end of the night, bloodshot red eyes, because she's just ready to just fall asleep.
Oh, God.
And, at that moment I was like, okay, we've given her more than enough training. She's just not getting it. She just wants to clean. That's what she wants to do. So we had that conversation, and she said, yeah, you're right. I'm not a supervisor. Maybe someday. I'm a cleaner. That's what I want to do. And she was good with that. So,
dude, yeah, it's like sometimes you just got to be aware of that. You know, she's doing what she thinks she has to do. A lot of people, I've realized that too. Sometimes you're doing what you think you're supposed to do, yet that wasn't the expectation somebody else
right.
put out there for you. So you're like, you're not right or wrong by no means. It's just, again, clarifying, having clarity. All right. So you showed me earlier the coaster. I was actually going to tell you because I always check out the website, and I love the colors and the site. I looked at the bottom of your site. Are those badges, or what are does that show or identify what cities you work in? The bottom of your website. Now, what does that stand for?
Yeah,
it stuck out to me.
Yeah, those are certain areas that we have, and so some of the local newspapers have this thing like the best the best companies in the region, right? And honestly, I think they're rigged, because if you pay for a lot of
do you pay for it? That's right. You just pay for it.
So you get it. So there's a company that's had the award for 8 years plus, and then just as of this year, she's gone out of business. But we created the badge, and it says here, like this one in particular, Wenatchee's official janitorial company, right? So I'll pull out a full page ad in the Business Journal, and boom, we're the official janitorial company. I mean, we're just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
I
it's
love
kind of
it.
it's kind of stuck. And so we went with it in the other areas, and we've got logos and things that go with the region, and so it worked for us.
No, dude, it's brand consistency, right? I
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
brand identity, brand consistency, the story behind your brand, and
yep,
you're living it, you're doing it. Like for those that are listening, right? Like again, you may be starting off, or you may have had a brand for 10 years and it never stuck. You never worked on your brand. It's never too late. But I'll tell you, like Edwin is the truth right here about it. But nothing is more important than you and your brand. I mean,
yep.
dude, you start to sell, it sells itself, it builds credibility. Again, this is like branding, a whole branding session, but we'll move on. We will move on. Let's talk about, I didn't even know about this. I think last week I saw it. I saw something pop up. Blueprint Janitorial. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, Blueprint Janitorial Consulting. So, had a lot of businesses reach out to me and want help, right? And just assistance. Hey, we saw you on social media, on whatever, LinkedIn, Facebook. Can you help us? We're new to the industry. This is what we're doing. And they're in smaller areas like I am, right? And so I've been helping people. And, what the light switch kind of went off, I helped a guy down in Florida and I helped him secure a $90,000 a month account. I was like, dang, and we worked on this and we worked on it for a while, right? And so didn't charge him a penny for that. I was just helping him, and I enjoyed doing that. And I thought, you know what, let's try this, and let's just see if we can help other businesses that are out there, because I've got some bidding software on Excel that I created all these years putting it together, and just things that I do on a daily basis. And so I give it a shot and see what happens. And I've already got some clients in that are looking for some consulting and some help. So
Good. Amen. Cheers. Cheers to that, brother. Cheers to that.
absolutely. But we took I took it a step further, and I created a group here in town, and we call it Entrepreneur's Edge. And it's just a group of
Yes.
three other.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw a video on that. Okay, talk to me about that. Yeah.
Three other local entrepreneurs that kind of started from the bottom and worked their way up, right? And so each of us has our own definition of success, but to us, we've kind of reached that success, what that means to us. And it's a bunch of industries put together. So me in the cleaning industry, I've got a real estate agent that started his own brokerage. We've got a automotive tech guy that's got his own place, and then an insurance guy. Our automotive guy, he's crazy. I call him the Russian mafia. This guy he's something else. But he's actually from Romania, and he left Romania. He has a backpack when he escaped there, during the communism and everything. He has a backpack framed of where there's 2 bullet holes in there where they shot at him while he was crossing a river to get out of the country.
Holy shit.
And he's got this whole story that we always tell we bring in new businesses that are just starting once a month to this group, and we bring in the drinks, right? We bring in the food. There's no cost. We just want to help you out. But he tells a story, and he came here to the United States with 35 cents to his name. That's it. And he's built it up into a multi-million-dollar business, real estate, everything.
Wow.
This guy is great. And his office, I had the first meeting at my office, and I thought I had a pretty good spread. He brought it to his office, and he's got a custom Ford Mustang pool table in there.
Come on. Oh,
he had it.
shit.
He had it catered, Cuban cigars, food. But and the first business we helped was the semi-pro basketball team in town. They weren't getting a lot of help, from a lot of the other businesses in town. So we helped them get sponsorships and get things going off of the ground. And I mean, I think they're going to be a huge success. But for us, that was a cool story for us to bring a pro team in and really help them. But just a group of guys we have.
Dude, because Edwin, think about it, man. And so people realize, like, okay, we are busy already, right? Yep. We are busy. Again, like Todd Hopkins says, we're busy being productive. You don't have to be doing that, right? Like, you don't have to do them. Actually, I wanted to jump into about family. Talk to me about your family real quick, because you don't have to do that when you have family, especially if you're solopreneur. No problem, right? Maybe you work 20 hours a day, I guess. But let's dig to your family real quick if we could.
Yeah, my wife says stop. Just slow down, right? And I'm sure yours tells you the same thing, but it's one of those things. It's like it gets me going. It's like
Hmm.
this is what I want to do, and I want to take what I've learned and help other people however I can. And it's it's that other people are going to help me too along the way. So I want to just give that back. But yeah, so the biggest thing is my wife was in this in the beginning. She was in the banking industry for about 10 years plus, and when I decided to break off on my own, she's like, okay, I hope you know what you're getting into. She goes, I'll support you. And she was seeing me working during the day, trying to get accounts, hitting the pavement hard, knocking on doors, and then going and cleaning a couple accounts at night, and then maybe getting a couple hours of sleep and doing it again.
Yeah.
And we dabbled in eBay a little bit. And she said, you know what? I've got a big enough eBay store that I can support us. I can pay the bills. I can pay the mortgage. I can pay the bills, take care of the kids.
Damn. Okay.
I'll do the day-to-day stuff, and you go and run this thing. And so, fast forward 10 years later, she's starting to step aside now, and she's hired an HR person. She's hired a payroll person. And so she's stepped back to really concentrate on the kids. But, our son, he's my stepson, but he's really my son. He actually just added a hyphen to his last name, to my last name.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's awesome. And so he's grown up in the business. I've been in his life since he was 3. He'll be 21 this month.
Yeah.
He's been doing floors. He's been doing
Bro, you look,
cleaning.
21-year-old. You look like you're 30
23
right now.
23. But
Awesome,
no,
man.
he's out doing things, and just as of last month, he started doing sales. And I'll give him props here because he's probably going to watch this. But he got his first $8,000 sale in his first week out there. So,
dude, I'm telling you, man, sales at 23. So I started at 25 in the mortgage, 24 or 25 in the mortgage business. That's the best thing you could do for him. For anybody listening, like cold calling, appointment setting, sales, because it is so uncomfortable that by the time you go through it, he is going to be, again, he could be completely out of sales in 2-3 years. But dude, what you've done for him is you will have developed a thick skin and a I'm okay being uncomfortable scenario, right? Like, because that is, for me, that's what sales was in the beginning. I would tell you, I am the first to tell you, and I'm looking like if he's here, but Jay, who is my partner on the RCM side, and then Dominic's my director, CEO, COO of. They were my bosses, Edwin, and they would tell me, Rick, here's the list. You got to call, set up appointments. I was a loan officer. Bro, I didn't call half that list. I was like, I type, yep. Guys, I made 50 calls today. Yep, we're good. I made 5.
Right.
Because I was so scared. Dude, I was so scared to make cold calls at 24, 25. But your son is going to develop a social skill set that is going to set him up for anything he wants to do, man. So kudos to you for that.
Yeah, he's even seen the workforce the way it is. When he was going to college, he was going to school at 8 a.m. until 2 or 3, and then coming to work to be the night supervisor from 4 to 11. People would call out.
So he was so he was like that side of the business too. So he's cleaned and all that.
Oh, he's done it all. Yeah, he started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
But he's 20. He'll be 21 this month. But yeah, he even broke away, went to school, tech school to be an automotive tech. School from 8 a.m. till 2, 3 in the afternoon. Come on at 4. Hopefully get off by 10 or 11. People would call out. He'd be out until 1 or 2 in the morning. He did it for 2 years. He did it for 2 years, and he sees how it is. And so the way he is with the employees, he understands.
So mutual respect. Yeah, mutual respect.
It is, yeah.
You can't beat that, man. Oh, God. That's awesome. My sons are 4 and 2. I'm waiting. I mean, they act like they know how to pick up a garbage can right now. So soon,
there you go.
10 years old, we'll start putting
my daughter's 11. My daughter's 11. She can't even take the trash out. So
awesome, man. All right. So I forgot. I think there was something you had said. Okay. I've actually never asked this question before, Edwin, but you touched on it. So you said you came from Seattle, huge population, to where you're at now in Washington. In what's it? Wenatchee? How do you say it?
Wenatchee. Nobody can ever pronounce it. Yeah, it's Wenatchee.
Wenatchee. So, man, because I think you could give some good perspective here. So I've looked at, as we're helping a lot of cleaning business owners, from small, medium to large. Dude, tell me what you think about, like, Marcus, who works here with us right now, he put it in 3 pillars. He said, Rick, there's the rural method or rural approach, cleaning company owner. There's the urban, and then there's the metro, where they all operate differently, man. They're all going to deal with different pain points. Like, do you feel the area that you're in and the population and the amount of business potential that you have, does that affect the growth of a company if they are just not narrow-minded, but like, I can only grow here in this region, in this city? Do you feel that does limit people? Or like, how do you think people should look at that when they tell themselves, I can't get too big because I'm in a rural city? Like,
Right.
what's your response to that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that was the same thing here. I mean, I was born and raised here, moved away, came back. But yeah, it's I call it the good old boy network. You got to know somebody that knows somebody to get in. But with here, there's no high rises, right? So there's only so many big businesses that you can get into. So you capitalize on what you can. And then the next step is, hey, I've capped out on, the bread and butter commercial cleaning part of it. There's still floor work and windows and all that comes around. But as in terms of just janitorial, you got to expand. And so, 30 minutes to an hour from here, there's industrial manufacturing plants. And the thing about where I'm at, Central Washington, is we have three dams close to where we're at, hydroelectricity. Power here is cheap. So what does cheap power mean? It means the Microsofts, the Amazons, the Yahoos, the Intuits. So this is breeding ground for the data centers. And so for about a 600-mile stretch, there's data centers galore. And that's kind of the biggest thing. We had an opportunity. Actually, going back to the marketing piece, we have a pretty decent size. It's a hockey arena. We've got some, semi-pro teams and stuff. And so I put a dasher board up in the hockey arena. And one of the big wigs from one of these Fortune 500 tech companies their kid was playing in a hockey tournament here, and his kid got body checked into my sign on the reader board there. He was actually looking for janitorial service and saw it, called me, that Monday, and we've never looked back. I mean, we've been growing. It went from 3 data centers, and we now have, with this one particular company, about 47 of them.
All right, so you're the guy to come talk to about data centers, because that is a topic of discussion in our office. They want to get into data centers, but I'm like, that's a different beast, though.
There's so many pieces to it, from the floors to the.
It's a different style of clean, right?
Is
it a different?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile if you can get into it.
So if we invite you to Chicago, you're coming to Chicago to do some consulting, my man. All right. Yeah. No, dude, okay. So what you're saying is you found the opportunities, right? Because yes, you can only get as big as the areas that you are in. But have you built a playbook for yourself, or like a framework on how to get into another city? Because I got 30 minutes an hour. I mean, it doesn't seem like far. But if you don't have the bandwidth and the capacity or a management team, it could be more than you can take on. So what do you, is there a framework for you to start getting out to an hour out, 2 hours out?
Yeah. I mean, really what I did is I just went there, right? We don't have any cleaners. So I just went there just to, again, hit the pavement, knock on doors and see if I get something. And then, get a couple proposals going, and I got something. It's like, okay, now I figure it out. Now that I got it, I can usually buy some time. There's usually a 30-day notice that they give their other cleaning company. And so we just do it that way. And then we get a couple cleaners that way, and then we start to spiral it. And what's happened over the course of this last 10 years is we've opened up 2 other offices they can cover, 300 to 400 miles in any direction. And that's kind of what we do. And then we can do little satellite offices here and there if we need to, but we try to just, from these offices, service all these other places.
So, Edwin, this is like a whole other topic that, again, this is actually, man, you got to come and speak at one of my cleaning and cocktails, bro. There's a lot we could talk about. So, Edwin, think about this, because this is something we try, Dominic talks to a lot of cleaning business owners, Ricky on the route side. Like, we're always talking to them, and there's a big vision and a big picture if you want to scale. Not everybody wants to scale. Not everybody wants to grow. People stay content, and it's okay. But what you're talking to is like that big vision, right? Like, We take on, I love, as you know, right? I love national clients. I'll go where the client will take us, and I'll figure it out because it's funny. We joke about it here in the offices. We want to have pins everywhere. I want a map that has pins in every single state, because then it becomes easier to then compete with the bigger brands
Right.
and have presence, right? But we have that by partnerships, right? By people. If I'm going to Washington, I'm calling iPro. I'm not going there myself. I'll find somebody who's there local, because you guys know those areas better. But it is risky, right? And it's like what you said is it's a risk up front to establish a footprint, lose money probably. You're probably going to lose maybe on the first few accounts. But then now that you're there, like how we look at it, Edwin, is you start putting a map of new opportunities over and over and over.
Exactly.
And you could start winning, and it starts to spread, right? Like now the next account you win actually pays for that supervisor that now can manage the accounts that you have. The next account that wins, now you can hire an inspector. And like, because I feel where people, like, because I was there, man, first 3-4 years, all I cared about was like bottom line, I need to make some money. I need money.
Yeah.
Right. I need to make money. Where it's like, no, make money to a certain point where you're okay and you're satisfied and you're secure, your family's good, everybody's okay. Now put that money back into the business and let the business just wildfire, right? Just spread. So I think that leads to a better conversation for us to have, because I think there's a lot that people should know about that. Like a parting note on that, though, what would you say? Any advice you have on people that are skeptical about going outside their region? Is there anything that you think they should be aware of to know what's on the other side of taking that risk?
I mean, what do they say? No risk, no reward kind of thing. You know, we had a customer, and I always tell my guys, you know, make sure you have good relationships with managers and assistant managers. In this particular business, the assistant managers are in line to get their own store. And this place has 400 stores all across the West. We had a good relationship with this assistant manager. He got his new location, which was 7.5 hours away from here, down in Boise, Idaho. And literally he got there, he called me the next day and he's like, I don't like the cleaning company. I need you guys down here. Are you down here? I said, no, but I can be there tomorrow. He goes, all right, come on down. We went down there, we met, it worked out. I told him, I said, hey, I don't have anybody yet, but let me work something through. We did it. We found some cleaners, ended up spreading to 13 sites down there. So, I mean, you know, if there's opportunity, I always say, if there's opportunity, don't pass it up. Just go for it. See what happens. What's the worst thing that'll happen? You don't get it, or you try it out and it doesn't work, and that area doesn't work for you. Okay, then you just go back to where you're at. And
just go back to where you're at. Yeah. Well said, my man. Well said. That's perfect. All right, so Michelle would kill me if I don't bring this up, because I think this is an awesome thing about you. And it says you and your daughter have a sports card company on eBay.
We do.
Talk to me about that. 11 years old.
11 years old. Yep. So I've always had a thing for sports cards since growing up, right? And I mean, you're in Chicago, right? Michael Jordan. I got a picture of him back here. I got a picture of him back here. But yeah, and you know, she was seeing me coming home with the cards and opening up the packs and everything. She got into it. Literally, the first pack she opened up was a pack of 1990 NBA hoops. You know, the 90s junk wax. She opened it up. She got a Michael Jordan. Boom, that was
Come
it.
On.
She's all about cards now, and so that's her thing. And so we said, you know, she's like, Dad, I want to be in business like you and Mom. I want to do something. And I said, hey, we can open cards and sell them on eBay, and you know, we can do that. And there we go. So I think it's falling more on my lap. You know, I got to do all the sending it out, packaging and sending it out, but she enjoys opening them up and going through it. So
no, but I'll tell you, dude, again, you're a busy guy, right? You're running a business. You got people that you're responsible for. You got weight on your shoulders. You're trying to build, you know, an empire yourself. But the fact that you have time to do that with your kids and your daughter like that, like, that's important, man. Because I guarantee to me, it allows you to take that extra hour back at the office, because you know that you are going to go home and do what you have to do with the family.
Yep.
But her seeing that, again, kudos, because dude, it's a tough conversation, man. Like, people always talk about work-life balance. I'm like, man, I just don't understand how anybody has a simple formula for that, because
Right? Yeah.
every day is different.
It's different.
I'm up till 2 in the morning last night working on cleaning and cocktails. After during the day I worked on route, then I worked on Rosalato, then I worked on but my wife, my sons are like, they respect it, and they're like, dude, it's all so just they're watching, right? So yeah, kudos to you on that, man. I want to leave or end on a note of because we hit a lot of nuggets, man. I didn't even know
We did, yeah.
I didn't realize we were gonna unwrap so much different things here. What does 2023, 2024 look like for you? And then second part to that, Edwin, is what do you feel cleaning business owners now, because you've been in the industry for a while too now, so like what do you think they have to look forward to today that just wasn't possible before, to really kick some people in the butt and spark that next level energy to continue to go after this dream?
Yeah, I mean, right now for us, it's expansion, it's growth, and it's nonstop, right? The phone's always ringing. We got our sales guys out there going, and it's building the group. And so for me, I get to take a step back now, and I get to concentrate on developing the managers and the supervisors. And that's what I want to do now. Now that I've trained the people to do what I used to do, I can focus on my staff, on my key players. And that's really what I'm doing to get them to the next level. I've heard that saying where you train them well enough that they have the opportunity to leave, but they won't because they feel respected where you're at. And I kind of want to do that, and so we're doing things, the ISSA event that's going on in Vegas, I'm taking 2 managers, and so they're all chomping at the bit. Who's going to go? Who's going to go?
Oh, nice.
And so there's certain things, and I sent, Gary, our GM down there to your cleaning and cocktails in Chicago, and he came back and presented to our group. So it's just getting these guys to the next level. And for people that are new getting into the game, 10 years in it, it's definitely changed, especially with the pandemic. And I've said, if you made it through the pandemic, you're in a better spot now. And the people that didn't, it just kind of got rid of those smaller mom and pops and have kind of strengthened ourselves. You're putting pins all over the map, right? I want to follow suit. I want to do that as well too. But it's a lot of hard work, and it's just dedication. You're up till 2 a.m. doing your thing, and it's not just one thing, right? It's 3 or 4 different things. And I'm kind of going in that direction too. But, if you got a passion for it, you'll succeed. You just got to put in that hard work, and there's going to be failures along the way, but those are just learning obstacles for you, right? To get bigger and better.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, I want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time, man. I know how busy we all are. I appreciate you. I'm going to put your information, if you're cool with it. I'm going to put your contact info and everything, on the description. I'll share everything, you guys. Look forward to sharing this episode with everybody. I have one question for you. Okay. I'm going to be in Vegas too, so I know you're coming to my party. You're coming to our party that we're going to host down there. Yeah. So if you could bring me a pair of iPro Air Force Ones, I will have some route swag for you all day.
Done.
Cool?
Done.
I'm a size 12. Done. I'm a size 12. All right. All right, brother. Salute.
Hey, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Another episode of Cleaning and Cocktails. You guys will keep hearing more and more from us. We're here to empower the space. Edwin is doing that every single day of his life right now, and I appreciate him again. Hope you guys appreciate the episode, and we'll talk again. Until next time, guys.